The grim reality emerging from long-term research is that diets dominated by ultra-processed foods are not just eroding quality of life, they are shortening it. Increasing evidence from large-scale epidemiological studies reveals a stark association between frequent consumption of these industrially manufactured products and a significantly higher risk of premature death. The link is primarily driven by the overwhelming contribution of ultra-processed foods to chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and metabolic syndrome, all of which reduce life expectancy and burden healthcare systems worldwide. Ultra-processed foods are often calorie-dense, nutritionally poor, and loaded with harmful ingredients like refined sugars, unhealthy fats, excessive sodium, and synthetic additives. This cocktail of toxic nutritional factors fuels systemic inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolic dysfunction, core biological processes that underlie the development and progression of nearly every major chronic illness. As these illnesses accumulate, they compound risks, weakening the body's defenses and accelerating physiological decline. One of the most alarming aspects of this dietary pattern is how quickly it translates into measurable health damage. Unlike some risk factors that take decades to manifest, high consumption of ultra-processed foods can rapidly worsen metabolic health markers such as blood pressure, blood glucose, and cholesterol levels. This swift deterioration leads to earlier onset of conditions that traditionally developed later in life, meaning diseases that were once associated with old age are now appearing in younger populations. The result is a growing cohort of middle-aged and even younger adults suffering from heart attacks, strokes, diabetes complications, and cancers, effectively truncating their lifespan. Moreover, the risk linked to ultra-processed foods is not just about individual illnesses, but their combined burden. People with multiple chronic conditions, often stemming from poor diet, experience exponentially higher mortality risk. The synergistic damage from obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and fatty liver disease accelerates organ failure, reduces immune resilience, and increases vulnerability to infections and other acute health crises. In essence, ultra-processed foods act like a slow poison, systematically dismantling the body's ability to maintain health over time. Another disturbing factor is the socioeconomic dimension of this issue. Ultra-processed foods are disproportionately consumed by lower-income populations due to their low cost, convenience, and aggressive marketing. This creates a vicious cycle where the most vulnerable groups suffer the greatest health consequences and shortest lifespans, deepening existing health inequalities. The burden of premature death linked to these foods is therefore also a social justice crisis. The data from these studies are unequivocal. Every increase in ultra-processed food consumption corresponds with a measurable rise in mortality risk. Some research suggests that replacing even a small portion of ultra-processed foods with minimally processed or whole foods can significantly reduce this risk, underscoring the critical importance of dietary quality over mere calorie count. Despite the clear evidence, public awareness remains limited, and policies to curb ultra-processed food consumption are weak or absent in many countries. The food industry's powerful lobbying efforts and pervasive marketing undermine attempts to inform consumers or regulate harmful ingredients. This leaves individuals trapped in an environment that promotes unhealthy eating habits, contributing to a slow but steady erosion of population health and lifespan. In conclusion, the long-term impact of high ultra-processed food consumption is a reduced life expectancy driven by chronic diseases fueled by poor nutrition. The pervasive presence of these foods in modern diets is accelerating the onset of debilitating illnesses, increasing premature mortality, and worsening health disparities. Addressing this issue demands urgent, coordinated action from policymakers, health professionals, and society at large to shift food environments toward nourishing, whole food options that support longevity rather than premature decline. Without such efforts, the convenience and affordability of ultra-processed foods will continue to cost millions of lives worldwide.